assistant principal in this case, and the police officer who came and cited. Obviously, we don't know why, because the report only tells you facts, that assistant principal went to the bathroom, did a search, found fake pen on the student, he gets cited, right? We wanted you to ask those questions and take in the position, be in the student's shoes, going, you wanna tease that information out, how and why. What did you guys come up with if you were the student? If you're getting that information out, you're talking to student, what are you doing? Why are you doing it?
Like in position of the student that was arrested?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you guys all had ideas because you guys were talking a lot. Like, is there something you would want to know from the student, or? Yeah.
Probably if it's like actually his, or if this is the first time dealing like drugs or anything. It's like been multiple times he's been doing this in school.
Yeah.
Something good to know.
Those are good. Yeah. Yes.
And if they were doing it multiple times, like maybe there can be a question about if he had like any mental illness, or is there anything wrong with him like mentally? Because I feel like people that use this is my perception.
Sure.
The people that use drugs when they're this young, I feel like they'd be in a very low state of mind.
Okay. Maybe like self-medicating, right? Yes.
Maybe there's like a possibility of history in the family, which could be contributing to what he was talking about. Like if there's not a lot of information on the mother, but maybe the parents are like engaging in similar behavior, so
Sure.
maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I did say, you know, the mom is mentioned in here, but it just says mom was advised, right? So we don't know if mom is like upset or maybe in support of, like, who knows, right? I mean, I have clients where the kids are ordered not to use marijuana while they're on probation, and the whole family uses it, and they don't care if their kid does, even though it's against the court order, right? Well, and against the law. But I think, did you have your hand up to the back?
Oh, yeah. One of the questions we discussed was the person smoking it, or were they just possessing it? Like, for example, were they about to deal it out to someone, or were they actually using it?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Did you have that?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you had
I
your
would
hand
want to know if they were aware that it was like THC marijuana, or they were just like, or they maybe thought it was something else and they had it, or like if someone told them it was something else and said like hold it for me, or if they were fully like, aware of what they were doing.
Yeah, that's good. Yes.
What I would want to know is sticking up to assistant principal fighting student in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because maybe like he got it from a friend because of the incident that happened. So I want to know exactly like what happened that day or that week leading up to the police.
And that would be like good questioning for the kid and the assistant principal too, right? Like why are you doing this random sweep in the bathroom, right? Just because he had a hunch or what? Yes.
I have kind of like a hypothetical question.
Sure.
So if you're discussing like an incident with you, right, and then you're like asking them details, and they divulge a detail that like incriminates them further. Like for example, like let's say I'm talking to this guy, and he tells me personally that he had an intent to distribute. Am I legally obliged to let somebody know that there was like an intent to distribute, that there was a crime beyond what was initially reported, or is that just private? Am I not allowed to share that information?
Like you as a peer advocate in this program?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think it would depend on the answer, whether it was his intent or it will be that he was still gonna do it, that he would do it in the future. I think there's a difference. If he said to you that at the time he brought it, he was gonna sell to one of his buddies, that's in the past, and that's why you're here for that group. But if he's going to continue to do, he's like, well, that's just what I'm gonna do, I don't really care. Then one, I don't think this person would be part of this group, because that would be, one, I think that person would have other issues going on other than this that's presented in front of you, but they wouldn't qualify for this group.
For the Restorative Justice Circle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they usually have other things going on.
Yes.
I'm just wondering about hypothetically,
yes, that's part of the, I believe what we call the client evaluation. It's you as a peer advocate, you would talk to them, that's your client, right? That's who you represent. And they have to have that inertia in them that they want to change. If that's not it, there's no reason why 8 people should sit in this circle and work for this, get this person to be here if they don't want to be here.
I do think though, there's like caution about like judging their level of wanting to do that, because it's, especially I think with, like I see it even with my like clients, like you ask them a question and they're like, okay, you know, and like you don't wanna interpret that as them being like not interested or not involved. And also, if whatever your recommendation is going to be at the end of any of these circles is for intervention, they might not realize at that time that interventions could be helpful, but then when an intervention happens, then they could see that they do wanna change. Does that make sense?
I think that's when you bring in your senior attorney.
Yeah.
That's why you have an adult attorney with you. You bring the concern up and see if your senior attorney can sit with you and watch the interaction. Maybe there's something that, it's words we use, it's listening, asking, it's sometimes maybe they'll finally open up and say something to you that you're like, oh, it could be the parents, because the student's parents supposed to be involved as well. You have the community partners. It's all these things that come together to make it work.
To guide them towards that goal. Yes.
Also going back to your thought about how like someone might not be interested just because of the way they say something. You also have to take into account of their state of mind, because if we have a perception of what we've learned that people saying in this type of way, we can clearly assume that they're like obviously not paying attention. Like we don't understand like what's behind them.
Mhm.
You have to have that realization before we have an assumption before.
Sure, and also like be clear about specifics with the person, because if they say, well, I don't wanna do anything, or I'm not interested in X, Y, or, you know, I'm just not interested, and then you explain, well, actually, I think what the recommendation would be is for you to, what would be a good example of something? Like educational course and writing an essay about it, and they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. When they just said 2 minutes ago, I don't wanna do anything. So when you do present them with the specifics and they think about it, they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. So instead of, you know, not just letting them shut it down and to kind of proceed, and that's part of the process of being an advocate too for the kids.
And I think one of the mock circles we did, that Patrick and Consuelo and I were doing, is having a peer advocate talking to, which is y'all here, talking to the student, your client, you represent them, you have their best interests at heart. And it's figuring out, we were doing this mock circle, and I remember one of the students like, I don't like doing anything, I don't want to participate, school is boring for me. Well, what do you enjoy? If school's not the question, we can figure, like, what do you like? Throw all the rules aside, like, we're not putting you in the school setting, ask them. If you guys are friends, what do you like to do? And it's all that, listening, taking that in, and figuring out what you can do for them. School's boring for me. Well, what kind of classes are you in? What sucks about it? What don't you like? How can we change that so you can stop disrupting not disrupting, because you don't want to use that word. How is it that we can get you to participate in class, that you will enjoy more? So you're shifting it, like, how can we make it for you to make this work?
Any other comments? Yeah.
How would we approach asking like a client's questions without making it like a leading question?
Like, instead of coming like, do you like writing? Or do you like math class? Something like that, you wanna be, so that way it's like they're stuck with that.
Yeah, like, my question is when asking questions about a certain piece, like trying to understand what their side, how will we approach it in a way where they don't feel as though they've already like closed might have
Made a
Okay.
decision, yeah.
When I used to clients, a lot of times we had presented with a police report. A lot of my colleagues would read them the police report. I don't do that. I don't start with that. I introduce myself, I chat with them, People want to talk. Your client will want to talk. And let them talk. Tell me what happened. I'm not here to judge. Just tell me what happened. I want to hear from your voice. I want to hear from you. You tell me. And we don't have to ask any questions at that time. That's you listening and writing notes. Be like, hey, I want to make sure I get everything right. Do you mind if I take notes? I'm still listening. It's making eye contact, making sure you're still listening, and just let them talk. And you might be able to tease out information why they did what they did.
Anything else about the client? Or any questions you would have for the assistant principal or the police officer? Yes.
I think for the assistant principal, since he was doing a safety check, like how would he know that he would have marijuana? Did he see him physically see it, or did he smell like something like an odor maybe? Because if he physically saw it, it would make sense.
Yeah.
But if he just assumed an odor, then that'd be like a little concerning.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Anyone? Yes.
I would potentially ask the assistant principal how common the drug use are in school and if it's a embedded part of student life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I think along with that, just more of the context about what happened, like if when the assistant principal entered the restroom, if it was like immediately obvious, or if he was like going around, like I guess snooping a little bit.
In the bathroom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
Why did it?
This is odd. I agree.
And sadly, this is a real case.
I just I feel like there had to have been someone who told the assistant principal that they saw this kid in the bathroom.
Yeah, no.
And then instead of writing that in his report, he just says, "Oh, I just went in to do a sweep in
That's
the
not true.
bathroom."
Unless
Unless, to your question, the answer is like every day or every Tuesday at 10 a.m. I do sweeps in the bathroom. You
It's
know,
this guy.
yeah, maybe. But I just think it's
That's concerning.
someone who told them. Would you have any questions for the mom?
Yeah, maybe like if this is normal behavior as a student, like have you noticed your like son is maybe feeling awe or something like that? Because like normally your parents can tell us something's off with you.
Yeah, if she has
Yeah,
concerns.
like see like, oh, is this like normal behavior? Like he's always like, oh,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, because you could get good info from the mom, like, oh, this is so out of character, I've never had any issues with him, or, oh yeah, I kind of suspected something, right? Yes.
I would want to know what her reaction is to when she got the phone call and when she's actually saw her student in the office. Like, I would want to know what her reaction is. Because if she was like very strict, if she's a very strict mom, like the chance of the child doing it again, very, like, if she's probably chilled and laid back, like maybe the child won't take that as seriously. So I think her reaction will be a key part in knowing for the future.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone else?
This one's a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's got more people involved.
Oh,
and
what
it's
is this?
Yeah. So this one is a battery, and just,
That's cool.
the legal definition of battery is when someone willfully and unlawfully uses force and violence upon the person of another.
Let me guess, 6 witnesses. That was a lot of people.
So just go ahead and read this to yourselves like last time and look up, and then, we might not have time for getting together in groups, we could just, get some volunteers